everyone. We're going to do a video on the age gap now that I'm sure will be a very pleasant one. Alright, the age gap being the age difference between a man and a woman in marriage, preferably. Alrighty. I'm going to do some biblical takes on this, as well as some biological, social takes, which will be super fun. It's rather heavy traffic. I'll find more distracted than usual. That is why. Thankfully, it's all just straight as an arrow. Okay. So, socially, currently, the idea of an age gap is pretty much anything 10 years difference if you are over the age of 20, or 5 years difference if you are under the age of 20 for the woman. So if a 20-year-old woman and a 25-year-old man are together, you would not typically call that an age gap. Maybe you would. I don't think most would. I would not. Not really, no. Whereas if you were to see a 16-year-old female with a 21-year-old male, you might say, "Uh-oh, what's going on here?" And personally, I think that's sort of case by case. I don't really have too much of a problem with anyone who is of maturity in their minds and has reached adulthood. So I say "and" because often those two don't happen. Okay. So biblically, we see plenty of examples of male figures whose wives' ages are either unmentioned, or they say they're younger, or it's implied, for instance. Jeez. Wow. That was a close call up there. Jeez. Whereas what we don't see in the Bible is a woman being older than a man. You typically just don't see that. Even in society, it's rather uncommon. Not uncommon, but it's not the norm. And I don't think that age has too much to do. This is my personal take. Well, all of this is really. Age doesn't have too much to do with too much. In general. That being said, what I have witnessed in my very short time being alive is that the men who I know, because obviously, being a man, I know other men, just how it goes. From that pool of experience, I have gathered that the ones that I have known whose wife or significant other female, XYZ, is older than he is, even by a couple of days, he gets treated like garbage. I have cut, now this is going to sound terrible, but I have cut other men out of my life because of the way that they are treated by their wives and children. This is not an immediate thing, This would come over time, but I find it a very toxic environment. Disclaimer, I have never known a man, maybe more than 1 or 2 times ever in my life, who has ever treated his wife or children the way that I'm referring to right now. And of course I'm not referring to any kind of abuse here. It's more like just a casual disrespect, a casual tearing down. That's fair enough. Okay. So society does not want any age range gap. They have a formula and everything for what is societally acceptable, which I've not bothered to include here. I think it's kind of random. But among women, they usually seek a man that's older than them because of many reasons, foremost of which I would say is that they want to know that they're in good hands. And what does that mean? Usually they want a man to provide for them and to protect them, especially if they're younger. So if a woman in her mid-20s sees an 18-year-old man who is wanting to be that for her, then she will often say, oh wow, I don't know, this is not looking like something I can do because I won't be in good hands. I won't be provided for, and even if she is, she could probably do better since she's a bit older than he could do. Plus, she wants to be protected, and often at 18, I would have hated myself at 18 for saying this, but the mental awareness of what is dangerous and what is not actually is not fully there yet. And I'm sure I'll say the same thing in a few years about myself now. Anyhow, whereas if a man in his mid-20s, is a narrow example, we're just going to go with it, and a woman who is 18, okay, we're talking about 2 adults here, are looking to get together and start a family, that's usually what they both want, because a man wants someone who will respect him. If you look at the polls and the studies, wow. Without even a glimmer, without any question, men prefer respect over being loved. They would rather be respected than loved by their wives. I think that's because for a woman to respect a man, she would have to have some form of love for him, and you can grow that, whereas you can love someone and completely ignore everything they say. That's wrong of you, but you can technically, you can still do that. You don't love them very much. Anyhow. So a man wants a woman who is going to respect him, and a woman wants to be provided for, loved, treated like a princess. And younger men of the age gap difference probably will not be able to give that to them. So, that's how natural minds work. There's a biological component to this too, so we're going to do that real fast. When a woman reaches the age of 30, she unfortunately is at much increased risk for children not turning out how they ought to, being formed and in the birthing process as well. The danger risk of these different things and conditions goes way up. Increases exponentially year after year until she becomes sterile, which could happen many years after that. That's what it is. You can look it up. It's fine. Take it. However, if a woman has had a child in her, for example, early 20s, if she goes through this process before reaching that point, before becoming 30 years old, etc., then those dangerous conditions are much less likely, vastly less likely. So if a woman's body becomes accustomed to bearing children before the age of 30, her risk for problems in having children, as far as the development of the children in the womb, is vastly reduced. Okay. So men don't all know this, but on an instinctual level, if you are one who wants to start a family and you want several children, then you are probably not going to marry up age-wise in general. Men can have children until they basically die. Women can't do that. Society is upside down on this right now. So if a man marries down in age, and you hear it all the time, cradle robber, oh my gosh, he's 4 years older than her, disaster, probably a predator, wink wink. And it's always unmarried, older women. You hear do this. By older, I mean 40s, sorry. Or late 30s. That you hear doing this. Or just single women in general. Unfortunately. Whereas if he marries up in age, oh, he's just using her for her money. Oh, he just wants her for a good time, and that's it. Actually, that one goes both ways. They say that about both. Anyway, my advice is to look at these people and actually figure it out by seeing who they are and what they're doing. Oh, that'd be a great start. I'm worried. It must be a holiday. Is there a holiday happening? Crazy people. Jeez. Alrighty. Alright. We're good. Well, I have seen many a healthy couple from maybe not as far back as boomer time, but that far back also. They're not all around anymore anyway. But like maybe just pre-millennial or millennial age. I don't know. Aren't millennials like 43 now or something? Whatever. Where the man is 9 or 10 years, 8, 9 or 10 years older than the woman. And when I was, growing up, I thought, what? Oh my goodness! But when you find out, oh, okay, well, she was 20 and he was 30, then it's like, well, whatever. People are going to make their choices. In all straight honesty, the number of late teenage females, can I call them women, that have said to me that they would rather date a man in his early 30s, which if you do some math on that one, that's more than 10 years difference, in case you're still pulling out your calculator. Which is interesting. But again, they're only looking for these certain things. They want the attraction. They also want protection. That includes financial protection. And they're looking for status also. Watch out. Those ones are looking for status. But I don't typically see it go farther up than that. So I don't think men in their 40s are going to be getting much attention from women in their early 20s, for example, unless they're filthy rich or something like that, or in the top 0.25% attractiveness, maybe? Maybe. Anyhow, society has this upside down and backwards and inside out. They can't seem to decide what's okay and what's not. It's very subjective and preference-based, and they like to pass it off as keeping people safe or mental development levels, etc., for adults. And I know I said people need to be adults mentally before, they're really ready to be getting married and etc., all this stuff. But they mean it in a very different way. So if for example, and I hate to do this again, but for example, a woman in her early 20s, they'll bring out the forebrain. Somebody help me out with this. Forebrain not being developed yet. Prefrontal cortex, decision-making processing. All right. Not being fully developed. Let me tell you right now. I'm not sure if that's true. Apparently it is. I don't really consider that the best indicator of maturity, given the post-25-year-olds that I see walking around on a daily basis. So anyway, if you are looking for someone else for the purposes of marriage, look for someone who is mentally mature and can give you these things that are naturally inclined to want out of life. And remember that God has a plan for you, and you can never increase your chances when it comes to God. He does not need your help. So pray and make sure that you are ready so that He will send you someone. Because if you aren't ready, why would He give you someone else to look after? This goes for the boys and the girls. We can say we are, and then we'll find out we had a long way to go. Food for thought. That'll be the end for this one.